Have you ever wondered about the history of the DC Universe? How it all started? How we got to where we're at least up until 2006? Well, let's dive in. Welcome back to Longbox Diving, where we explore comics and story arcs pulled from the Longbox. Now, we're gonna actually try something a little different here with these sets of videos. There is a sub story included with 52, which is our primary arc that I'm reviewing right now. There's a sub story included in the back called The History of the DCU. Now, I figured, why not cover that? I like history. I like knowing about that stuff. I collected all the Marvel updates, all the DC's who's. I like that stuff. So I figured, hey, why not cover this in a different video set and just cover the history of the DCU from 2006. So let's do that now. It starts with New Kronos, the doorway to infinity. It's like a floating little thing out in space. Donna Troy shows up and starts talking about how there's been many different versions of her throughout the multiverse. Wonder Girl, she's been Dark Star, and specifically on Earth 7, she had become something called the Dark Angel, who actually worked for the Anti-Monitor, where she recorded the history of the universe. And then there was somebody called the Harbinger, who did that exact same thing for the Monitor. And now Donna Troy is there at Kronos, and she is looking, and she's got the orb from Harbinger, and she's looking at the information from all realities. This orb contains information from all realities, all information, all histories. Now, before the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor, there were many, many worlds, many, many universes, many, many different timelines. And it was actually too much information for Donna Troy herself to process. It was just, she couldn't summarize. She's like, just summarize it. It's too much for me to take in. And so that's kind of where we actually start our story. And in the beginning, there was blackness. And then there was a tiny spark, which exploded into a multiverse, making new worlds throughout. And one world at the center was focused on science, technology. And it would become dangerous to everybody. And see, there was a planet was called Oa, and a being there was called Krona. And he wanted to discover the origins of the universe. But with doing that, he actually caused a cataclysm which separated the universe into an antimatter, matter, and then antimatter universe, which is antimatter and evil. So because of that, the Owens set up themselves, hey, we're going to become now the Guardians of the Galaxy, or the Guardians of the Universe, I'm sorry. They're going to guard the universe from that ever happening again. And they take all wild magic all through the universe, and they bind it together, and they create something called the Manhunters. Now, the Manhunters decided to set themselves up above the Owen. They said, nobody will escape us. They wanted to conquer their own masters, the Owens. So the Owens had to actually dispatch them, wipe out the Manhunters, and start over again. So they do, and they actually decide mortal beings would be better than these things they create, the Manhunter. So they created mortal beings. They created the Green Lanterns, and they, gave rings, etc., like that, and they passed it out to mortals. Now, these events occurred in many different universes, but the most important one was Earth 1. And on Earth 1, a guy named Anthro ushered man out of caves. Things developed, places developed, culture developed, time passed, and then the first heroes were born, like Jonah Hecht, etc. So then Donna Troy's like, hey, let me focus a little bit on Superman. So Superman from many different worlds. Superman's on many, many different worlds. But the most important two was Superman 1 from Earth 1 and Superman from Earth 2. But eventually, only one of those would actually survive. Now, on Earth 1, he became known as Superman as a child. Superboy. He started as Superboy, grew up, became Superman, etc. And on Earth 2, he started as Superman. He didn't become Superman until an adult. But in both cases, they looked the same, pretty much. They looked the same color, same uniform. And they were both considered the greatest hero of all, Superman. But like other heroes, such as Flash from Earth 1 and Flash from Earth 2 were different. They're a little bit different costumes. They did some different stuff, but they were both still heroes. Now, there was an original crisis that brought those two Earths together. Earth 2 had the JSA, and Earth 1 had the Justice League of America. We then see Earth 1 had many different teams and heroes throughout the years. We had Teen Titans and Doom Patrol and Adam Strange, Metamorpho, Hawk and Dove, the Creeper, Batgirl, all these on Earth 1. And Earth 1 had a surge of heroes beyond anything Earth 2 had. And it stretched thousands of years into the future with the foundation of the Legion of Superheroes. Now, Earth 1 progressed. The young heroes became older. Evil came, went, everything continued. A future was established and would remain intact on Earth 1, but it only would survive partially. A new threat would actually rise that would actually wipe out a lot of existence. A crisis on infinite worlds, and few people would actually be spared, and no one would be left untouched. And then we end that with a shot of the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor side by side, like a split. And so, we will continue this history in the next episode. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. It really does help the channel, and we will see you here next time in the Long Box.